Well, it's a beautiful delight to have you join us, everyone. Welcome to the program Road to EDO 2024. Well, as we begin to move towards the pool and the spotlight is on the party primaries, a pivotal phase in the democratic process, and the emphasis on the internal democracy is very, very crucial, reflecting on the commitment of political parties to uphold fairness, transparency and inclusivity in selecting their candidate. Now, the choices made during this phase will not only shape the political landscape, but also influence the broader narrative of governance. Aspirant and party leaders must navigate the intricate balance between individual ambitions and the collective will of the party, recognizing that a strong foundation of internal democracy is fundamental to a thriving democratic society. Now, to join us extra the front line of this discussion, we have a perfect gentleman joining us virtually. He is the national leader of the Labour Party. He's in person of Barrister Julius Abure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me this evening.
Good to have you on the show. Okay, now quickly, you're going to help us now as we approach the pool for the off-cycle election in Edo State next year. What are the measures do you think political parties should adopt in choosing a standard bearer? Barrister Abure.
Well, let me use this opportunity once more to appreciate and thank Edo people for their immense support for the Labour Party. I think very strongly that political party leadership must first allow themselves to be guided by their constitution, by the electoral acts, and by the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, because these are the basic legal instruments that guides political primaries, as well as INEC regulations and guidelines. So it is my view and my submission that a political party and their leadership must follow the rules first and foremost. Secondly, political parties must be fair, just and equitable. We expect that parties must employ internal party democracy in order to ensure that candidates are emerged through competitive, virile and fair primaries. This will help us reduce litigation, it will bring credibility, it will bring fairness to the entire process. I have always advocated that the reason why we have numerous challenges with our government or with governance or with leadership across all levels of government is because most parties lack internal party democracy in selecting their flag bearers. And this has resulted in a situation where we have leaders who are not prepared for leadership, who were just beckoned upon, either by the Godfather or by people around them to run for those offices. Okay. And therefore, internal party democracy is key to selection of flag bearers.
There's no way we can do without issues that has to do with internal parties problems. Problems comes up when we are approaching the polls most times. How do we now solve some of these internal issues within the party systems? Because we've seen cases where you have a standard flag bearer for the party, and within the party we have party members coming up to put up a suit against the standard bearer, which in a way affect their productivity in the polls. How do we try to strike a balance as a stakeholder?
Well, ordinarily, all political parties have internal mechanism for resolving disputes. Obviously, if those internal mechanisms are exhausted, I'm sure, and leaders are fair and equitable, I'm sure it will reduce the number of litigations and quarrels that we'll have after party primaries. But obviously, where that failed, the ultimate is for people going to court, and is an essential part of our democracy, an essential part of our governance system. And to have the judiciary resolve all of these issues arising from the party primaries. Obviously, what we can do as party leaders is to see how we can use negotiation, persuasion, appeals, dialogue in resolving a lot of crises that may arise from political party primaries. Obviously, because it is a game that has to do with interest, competitive interest for that matter. Obviously, it comes with a lot of contradiction, it comes with a lot of controversies. It also comes with a lot of quarrels. And that's why we need leaders who are fair, who are just, who have the capacity to negotiate, who will be able to bring everybody together under one.
Are you still there, Barrister Abure?
The overall objective of the political party leadership.
Okay,
again,
go ahead. We're with you.
Yes, again, we need a lot of reorientation within ourselves. If not that political offices have become mainly for stomach infrastructure, as people will say. If it is just call for service and the people decide that you should go at a particular time, I think that everybody ought to key into this and rally around the person who have won the primary, supporting, bearing in mind that what is important is for the party to win and ultimately service for the people.
Now you talked about fairness in your submission. Every aspirant needs a level playing ground before they are actually pitched tent with any political party. But we have some people that are of the school of thought that are godfathers or party leaders. They have a way of masterminding or taking charge or determining the outcome of primary elections. What says you?
Well, I agree with you I agree with you totally. That democracy is about participation. Democracy is about fairness, it's about equity, and it's about the vast majority of the people. It is what the people want that ought to guide democracy, party primaries, and the rest of them. And for me, that is very important and is key. And that's what I talked about before when I talked about internal party democracy. Obviously, leaders also have responsibility to ensure that the party is properly guided, so that you don't have a situation where the process is completely left open, and then there will be mistakes at the end of the day. So what party leaders should generally do is to be fair, just, and be able to have a broad mind, open mind, and then be able to direct the people properly. I think that if party leaders are open, mobilize their own people through persuasion, explain the reason why a particular candidate should be supported, and let the individuals make up their mind as to where they want to go to.
Okay.
So for me, if the process is free, fair, and credible, it reduces the number of litigation controversies that we have in political parties.
But is it possible to have a level playground for every party involved, where you have a delegate running after the money bags? You know what I mean by that. We have those who are the money bags politicians, who have the cash at hand and the willpower to distribute, saying to delegates. So should we now sacrifice competence at the altar of those that are money bags in court?
Well, like I said, this is part of the challenges that we have in our polity, that we have in our democracy, that we have in all our systems. Of course, the socioeconomic conditions of every people determine their way of life, determine their thinking, determine their behavior, and determine their attitudes to issues, including political. And therefore, that's why we have been advocating that for us to have strong institutions, we need to fight poverty, we need to fight hunger, we need to fight unemployment, and ensure that people are of the mindset to do the right thing. While I agree with you that it's difficult to completely have a level playing field, particularly because of the society that we find ourselves. But I want to say that we can mitigate it and reduce it by educating our people, raising the consciousness of people, and letting them know the implication of sacrificing competence in the altar of money bags.
Money bags. Okay, now in what ways should parties encourage inclusivity and participation of members at different levels during the primary election process? Very important, Barrister Abure.
Yes, it's very key. Well, once the processes are free, fair, and credible, and then gender participation, obviously everybody will be involved in it. People should be free to interface with party members. At this stage, party members should be free to interface with all the candidates. They should be able to interrogate their capacity, their pedigree, their dignity, their attitudes. Obviously, the society is essentially a very small place. Like people will say, they know themselves. The antecedents of people are not, it's not hidden. People can access it. And therefore, if you are coming today to ask for a political office, and we already know whom you are, this will form the basis of what the people should do. So I think that the processes should be open. People should be free to interface with party members, so that party members will have the opportunity to make up their mind as to who will represent them better at the political party level.
How do we now carry everybody along? You have the young, you have the old, you have the women too in political parties. But in most cases, in Edo State, for instance, we've never had any case where we have a deputy female governor. It has never happened. So what areas should political parties start pushing their spotlights to? Should we look forward to having a female governor of the state? Is it possible?
People should come up to women. I have always admonished women to rise to the occasion and participate in the process. It is only when you rise to participate in the process that people will see your competence, see your capacity, and be able to join forces with you in order to become either deputy governor or the governor in the state. It is possible for a woman to be a governor. It is possible for a woman to also be deputy governor, because we have a lot of competent women in the two states, intelligent, sound, vibrant, who can even do better than men. So for us, if we have such women in Labour Party, obviously we encourage them to participate and be in the process. I have always encouraged women to participate in politics, and for us in Labour Party, if we have such women, we'll be glad to partner with them.
But in most cases, they are being relegated. They are being relegated. They try to participate from the beginning in the whole process, and when it gets to the peak, you don't hear about them again. The highest you see them do is to help coordinate women.
Well, we enjoy such women to come and try the Labour Party. Labour Party is women friendly. We are gender sensitive, and if they are relegated in other political parties, Labour Party is open. Let them try Labour Party, and you see the difference. Okay. The truth of the matter is that in FCT, for instance, we have a female senator in the FCT. I, as national chairman, obliged her with the ticket of the party when she convinced me that she had the capacity to win. Ireti Kudibin is the senator representing FCT.
Okay.
And I can say to you proudly that I promoted her, gave her the ticket, and today she's in the Senate. So women who have been relegated in Edo State who want to participate in next year's election,
they can try other political parties. Other political
yes, they can
parties.
try the Labour Party because
other political parties too are there.
Yes, I'm the national chairman of Labour Party. And that is where I have authority, I have the power to promote people. I'm just giving you an instance of a woman I promoted
in Abuja.
In FCT. There is also a woman I promoted in Anambra, Professor Lillian, who is in the House of Rep today. I single-handedly promoted her, seconded her, made sure that she got the ticket and submitted her form to INEC. Today she's in the House of Rep.
But
I can go on and I can go on.
But Barrister Abure,
I can go.
Barrister Abure, it's one thing for the party to project someone, and it's another thing for the person to get acceptance from the people. Does the party determine the election? You don't determine the election. You don't determine the outcome. You can't. You need the people.
Once you support a candidate or you project a candidate, there are a lot of variables you must put in place. You must put in place acceptability of the candidate, the capacity of the candidate to win, the intellectual capacity of the candidate, and several other variables you must put together in order to arrive at the conclusion whether she'll be able to win the election or not.
Okay, quickly, I would like you to react.
All of this you must do as a political party leader before projecting a candidate.
Okay.
But oftentimes what we find in political parties is that some of the leaders are selfish and they want to promote their own selfish interest and agenda. And so when that comes to play, it beclouds their ability.
Okay, Barrister Abure, it's like we're losing connection with you there, but if you can hear me, I would like you to quickly react.
Yes,
I would like you to quickly react to this. Looking at the CSU saga, I don't think INEC as the electoral umpire have a role to play, or should they be blamed for some of the lacunas we see in some of these credentials fallout?
Well, the Constitution and the Electoral Act is equally very clear that INEC has no right to question what is submitted to them for the purposes of election.
So should it not fall on the political party to do a clear work?
I think that the political party should have the responsibility to do a lot of due diligence to ensure that what is submitted before INEC is authentic results and several other things. I think as the law stands today, INEC has no power to question what is submitted by political parties to INEC. So, be that as it may, it gives the political party the responsibility to actually double check and ensure that names submitted are with good credentials, that the credentials submitted meet the standard and are not fake, are not forged, and are true representation and true records.
Barrister Abure, I'm afraid we don't have time again. We'd like to have you on the show subsequently. Thank you so much for taking time to join us on the program today.
I'll be glad to always join your program. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. That was the National Chairman, Labour Party, Barrister Abure, who joins us live virtually on the program Road to Edo 2024. I do hope you had a fine time, fantastic time watching today's episode. We'd like to see you on the next one. My name is Daniel Praise Osedebame. Good evening.